Good morning, viewers. I welcome you all to your own channel KP's Lit Charts. I am Professor KP Mahapatra. I welcome you to a new session today on the KP's Lit Charts. Ladies and gentlemen, we have already discussed the age of Shakespeare, the age of Renaissance or the Elizabethan age. Along with that, we have also highlighted on the growth, the evolution of Shakespeare as a dramatist. Today we will take up a new area which is very useful for postgraduate students, undergraduate honors students, NET examinees and PhD scholars as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we will discuss today the age of Romanticism or the Romantic Revival movement. The Romantic Revival movement started as a kind of rebellion, a kind of protest, a kind of counter against the Augustan poetry or the neoclassical poetry. In the 18th century, what happened? Two poets were there, John Dryden and Alexander Pope. They were more concerned with the technique than that of the theme. So they neglected theme and put more emphasis on the technique. And the kind of technique they adopted is the heroic couplets. The heroic couplet comprises two lines of iambic pentameters. Pentameters comprise 10 syllables. Penta means 5, meter comprises 2 syllables. So 5 into 2, 10 syllables. And iamb is a short syllable followed by a long syllable. So short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long. So short syllable followed by long syllable, and each line has to comprise 10 syllables. Since all these restraints were there, compulsions were there, the two poets, John Dryden and Alexander Pope, they could not do proper justice to the thematic element of poetry. The thematic aspect was neglected when the technical aspect was more focused. And apart from that, they began to concentrate on the urban population. Ladies and gentlemen, literature used to be the mirror of the entire human society, and the society comprises the rich and poor, haves and have-nots, bourgeois and proletariat, urban and rural. So when the rural folk, the rural people were neglected, or the rural lifestyle was neglected in the Augustan poetry or neoclassical poetry, the readers of Britain, they felt disappointed. And they did not like the Augustan poetry very much. Apart from that, the Augustan poets John Dryden and Alexander Pope, they also wrote satires. They began to criticize the follies and foibles, the weaknesses, the inadequacies of others, and which gave some foodstuff for others to discuss, to laugh at their cost. So for that reason, their poetry could not become very popular among the British readers. In the meanwhile, in the 19th century emerged the Romantic Revival movement. The objective of Romantic Revival movement was to bring into focus the rural population, the socio-cultural, political, psychological, religious problems of the rural people. What kind of hardship they are facing, what kind of poverty they are facing, what kind of challenges they are facing, what kind of joyous atmosphere, excitement, throbbing sensation, pulsating joy and thrill, excitement, festivity, revelry, enjoyment, get together, feast, fun, frolic, all those things were reflected in romantic literature or romantic poetry. So 19th century witnessed romantic poetry, no doubt, the growth of romantic poetry, no doubt, but the first half of 19th century was devoted to pre-romantic poets. Who are the pre-romantic poets and why are they called pre-romantic poets? They are called pre-romantic poets because they definitely made a counter against the Augustan or neoclassical poetry by focusing on the love of nature, the various facets of nature, the scenic and picturesque beauty of nature, the murmuring sound of the fountain, the wonderful, scenic view of the flora and fauna. All those things were highlighted in their poetry, there is no doubt. But there was a problem. And who are the poets? The poets are Robert Burns, George Crabbe, Robert Southey, William Blake, and all those people. So what did they do? They were lovers of nature. They were votaries of nature. And they began to enjoy the external manifestation of nature, the flora and fauna, the appealing beauty of nature, the sweet sensations unfolded by nature, the scenic, environment, the picturesque beauty of nature, they began to enjoy. But they simply enjoyed the external charm of nature. They never bothered to delve deep into the inmost recess of nature. What is there inside nature? And how nature is very useful to human civilization. And how there is a inexplicable bond between man on the one hand and nature on the other hand. They did not do that. They simply described the beauty of nature. My love is a red rose, Robert Burns said. They simply enjoyed the external manifestation of the natural beauty. But in the middle of 19th century, a galaxy of brilliant poets with wonderful approach towards nature, they arrived on the literary firmament of England. They are William Wordsworth, Percy B.C. Shelley, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, John Keats, and Lord Byron. So Wordsworth, Shelley, Byron, Keats, and Coleridge, they constituted the Romantic poets, or the group of Romantic poets. They had a wonderful understanding and they began to enjoy the external manifestation of nature, the flora and fauna, the scenic and picturesque beauty of nature, and simultaneously they also began to enjoy the inner appeal of nature. Wordsworth said, nature is not only the nurse, guide, guardian, and mother of all my soul, but nature is the nurse, guide, guardian, and mother of all my moral being. Whatever ethics, whatever morality, whatever aesthetic feeling do I have, whatever talent do I have, whatever wit do I have, whatever intelligence do I have, whatever creative genius do I possess, that is because of the blessings of nature. Nature is everything to me, and without nature I have no entity. Nature is brilliant, nature is fantastic, and in the midst of nature I tend to forget all the worries and anxieties, the enigmas and perplexities, the sorrows and sufferings, the fret and fever of the world, and I feel as if I am transported into a different world of peace, plenitude, joy, excitement, thrill, spiritual bliss. In his poem Tinternave, he visited river Ai 5 years back, and after visiting the river Ai, after a lapse of 5 years, he discovered something new. And he says, as long as I am on the bank of the river Ai, I experience sweet sensation. I experience the sublime joy. I experience a blessed mood. And he also said, the murmuring sound of the cataract is not simply the murmuring sound of the flowing water. It is talking about the still sad music of humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, you can imagine how a poet like Wordsworth was trying to correlate the sorrows and sufferings of the human beings, which is being shared by a sounding fountain or a cataract, a flowing stream. He said the flowing stream is not only causing the murmuring sound, it is trying to speak to you, readers, that the humanity is having terrible suffering. There is sad music. That murmuring sound contains sad music of humanity. Human life is full of sorrows and sufferings, worries and anxieties, fret and fever, enigma and perplexity, disappointment and disillusionment. So, ladies and gentlemen, one must be very particular about human life and the inexplicable bond, the kind of rapport, the kind of relationship between man on the one hand and nature on the other hand. This aspect no poet has ever discovered. This is something a very unique and innovative approach enunciated by William Wordsworth, a brilliant mind, the leader or the pioneer of the Romantic Revival movement. So he said, nature is everything to me. And you have poets like Percy B.C. Shelley, who used to say in Ode to the West Wind, he approaches the West Wind, admires the West Wind, recognizes the vivacity, the strength of the West Wind, and he says, "Oh West Wind, you lift me as a wave, lift me as a leaf, lift me as a cloud. I fall upon the thorns of life and I bleed." Look, what a brilliant expression. He says, the life which appears to be so very rosy, the life which appears to be so very colorful, is actually not like that. Life has the darker side, the gloomier side, the somber side. Oh, West Wind, I envy your freedom. You are so very free. Whatever you want to do, you can do that. But I can't do. I have certain constraints. I have certain restraints. I have certain compulsions. I have certain moratorium. Because I am a human being. I am bound by the social norms, social customs, social traditions. I can't be free like you. Oh, West Wind, you lift me as a leaf. As you are lifting the dry leaves, as you are lifting the waves of the sea, as you are lifting the clouds of the sky, similarly you lift me so that I will experience your freedom. Because I want to get rid of this world. This world is no place for me. I would like to get rid of this world because I fall upon the thorns of life and I bleed. Life has not been rosy for me. Life has been full of thorns. Life has been full of burdens. Life has been full of challenges. Life has been full of strife, full of struggle, full of impediments. And all the time I have to fight against the obstacles. So West Wind, please ensure a very smooth life for me. You take me along with you. I would like to be your friend, for which I can experience the kind of freedom which you have been enjoying. I want that kind of freedom. Even John Keats said to the nightingale, after listening to the canorous, lilting, melodious, heart-touching pulsating song of the nightingale. The poet John Keats said, "My heart aches and a drowsy numbness pains, as though hemlock I have drawn." Oh nightingale, your songs are having a sedative effect on me. When a child is not going to sleep, the mother sings the lullaby, sings the nursery rhyme that lulls the child into sleep. Similarly, the melodious, canorous, scintillating, heart-touching music of the nightingale touches the heart of John Keats so much that he feels that my heart aches and a drowsy numbness pains, as though hemlock I have drawn, as if I have been under sedation. I have been under the impact of some drugs or alcohol. Your songs are so very, lilting, so very heart touching, so very appealing that it lulls me to sleep. And in ode to autumn also, he says, Ki, O sun, O earth, you conspire with the sun to load and bless. O autumn season, John Keats is addressing autumn season and saying, O autumn, you are conspiring with the sun to load and bless. The earth will become pregnant and the earth will become productive. So this is how, these poets used to get their poetry associated or get the human beings associated with the nature. And they try to focus on various aspects of nature and correlate various aspects of nature with human suffering, with human joy, with human sorrow, with human excitement, and they derive pleasure out of that. And their poetry was very much appreciated by the readers of Britain, and that was really wonderful poetry. I thought today I think the time is over and we will discuss next time. So for today, thank you very much. Please never forget to share, subscribe and like the channel, KP Slit Chat channel. This is your channel. We will be having many more discussions on literature, on criticism, on philosophy, on psychology, on religion, on spiritualism and on so many other issues. Thank you very much. Jai Jagannath. Namaskar.